Welcome to another episode on our channel. I have no idea what to call this episode. One title I thought of is How Not to Make a Miniature Table. 1/6 scale miniature table. I thought about calling it How Not to Consult YouTube on how to make a 1/6 scale table. It's not a dining room table. She wants me to make a table for an upcoming segment that I don't know if I should tell you, but it involves. It doesn't involve a dining room table. It involves an action figure at a table doing something. So I don't want to, give too many things away. But anyway, one of those days where you think you got a really good plan. What's the old saying? Few people plan to fail, but a lot of people fail to plan. I don't know where I fit in that spectrum, but what I do know is that my plan failed, and here's why. So, for a tabletop, I thought, let me back up a little bit. I can be a little OCD about measuring things and in real life, and then scaling them down to 1/6 scale. This would be one of them. The tabletop that you see pretty much every day, it's got a little bit of an overhang, but it's made out of a little more than 3/4, because it's old and they tend to make things slightly bigger and better than. But anyway, it is roughly 3/4 of an inch thick oak, white oak, I believe. So 1/6 of 3/4 of an inch is roughly 1/8 of an inch. I just happen to have 1/8 of an inch wood laying around. This came out of a 1 foot by 1 foot square piece of basswood. I thought I was going to get into lasering well before COVID hit. I bought a little relatively inexpensive 5-watt diode laser. This stuff does laser up compared to other woods fairly well. I have a CO2 laser now. If anybody wants to buy a CO2 laser and you're in Southern California, shoot me a line. I'll hook you up. Anyway, I digress. I don't want to digress. But bottom line, this is actually coming up on the last of it. I got 1 or 2 sheets of this stuff left. So I thought, oh, great, this will make a great tabletop, and it's to scale. So I cut a piece, not surprisingly, pretty accurately to reflect the size of actually not my table so much as my desk over here. Anyway, this thing's 6 inches by 4 inches. So that was going to be the tabletop. Okay, so far so good, all right? Okay, how about legs? I thought, oh man, what am I going to do for legs? So I had I had all kinds of wood left over from different projects, not the least of which is the infamous or famous, no, it's not famous, the bench project. I got thin pieces of wood left over. I thought I'd just taper those down. They'll look nice, et cetera, et cetera. But that's a lot of work. It really is to get, and each leg has to match. And then I looked into my utensil drawer, just going to grab a fork, and I saw these chopsticks. I thought, I can use these, because the moment I saw these, let me get these things apart. What I saw was a table leg. These are the kind of chopsticks that are square. They're supposed to be square. It's roughly 1/4 by 1/4 of an inch. This is not an engineered and machine. It is engineered. It's not a machine, machine down to 1/1000th of an inch. It's roughly 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. But doggone it, looky there. How does that not look like a leg for a table? So what I did, I cut this down to 5 inches because guess how tall, guess how tall my desk is. It's 30 inches. 1/6 of 30 is 5. So it makes a great leg. It really does. I did use a electric chop saw to cut them all at once so that I could get the measurement accurate without putting each end to a stop block. And there would be a little bit of variation unless I had them all down exactly at the same place and cut them all at the same time. And it turned out great. I actually bought a new, not for this project, I just needed a new finishing blade. It's a 90 tooth blade, 12 inches in circumference, and there's 90 teeth all the way around. It's great for finishing saw. So yeah, that cut went well. Hold that thought. And I thought, okay, so with this table, to finish, make it look nice and finished. Oops, sorry, wrong piece. There we go. Yeah. All right. So, I don't know if you can see it or not because the wood's so light. There's not a lot of contrast there. So anyway, about a quarter of an inch in on another piece of wood, and I'll get to that in a minute. I put the back end of a chopstick. I cut it 5.5 inches, so that would be a quarter inch here and quarter inch here. Yeah, 6 inches, 5.5, quarter. Glued it in place. I did the same for the back side, and then I cut an appropriate piece for the side. I thought, oh, this is eventually going to look pretty good, right? Yeah. In fact, I I was even getting so anal about it. I remember these are bamboo, and in fact, the company name is Bambuda. Very clever. Um, they're made out of bamboo, as you would guess. But guess what I found out that bamboo doesn't like to do? Bamboo, at least bamboo chopsticks. I don't know about bamboo flooring or any other product. It cuts nice and clean this way. But small bamboo sticks, solid bamboo sticks, bamboo's basically a grass. At least that's my understanding. If any horticulturists out there, please correct me. I thought I was going to miter the ends so that this 6 inch would fit nicely and it wouldn't be a butt joint. Butt joints are ugly. However, when you cut with a power saw, I haven't tried it with a handsaw. I'm sure it'll work fine with a handsaw. But safety alert. This is what happens when, even with a brand new out of the box 90 tooth blade, which is like super fine, bamboo does not like, chopsticks anyway, does not like to be cut at a 45-degree angle. It actually kind of made a kind of a loud pop when I did it. I thought, okay, well, something went wrong. So I kept my distance this time with chop saw and slowly tried it again with pretty much the same result, just not as catastrophic this time. It was only partially destroyed. So if you're going to cut bamboo chopsticks, cut them fine. They cut fine like this. They really do. But if you try cutting them at a 45-degree angle with a power saw, bad things will ensue. Okay, now more of the saga. So mitering the ends was off. Okay, I'll live with it. So pick a piece of wood like this. I don't know if you can see it or not. I don't have my reading glasses on again, and I don't have autofocus enabled. But take my word for it, all the way around the perimeter, there is a line that is 1/4 of an inch in. I had glued nice and tight all 4 pieces. And I was starting to get a little nervous because these things aren't terribly thick, and 1/4 of an inch thick. And so with basically with the wood supporting here and the wood supporting here, I thought, okay, I can get some, it's not like it's going to be load bearing, right? I thought, I'll just glue this here. So I did. I'll have 3 points of contact with the glue. It wasn't enough. I went sideways. It was, yeah, it worked. And it sort of made a nice looking at the beginning table leg, but there was no structural integrity to it whatsoever. I kind of knew I was in trouble when I saw how little surface area, but I was in denial. I should have known better to begin with. So bottom line is the legs were not able to support the table unless you just put the table right there and didn't move, didn't stress it in any way whatsoever. So that didn't work. So my 1-part video looks like it's going to be a 2-part video. So I get to drop back, however far we drop back in the NFL, 12 yards, 15 yards, 10 yards, whatever it is, I'm going to punt. I have not given up on using these as legs. I see, this isn't the last third of a chopstick in my brain. This is a table leg. Probably cut it off a little bit here. And I got a bunch of them. That's another thing I need to tell you before I go into how I'm going to address this. Chopsticks are cheap if you buy them in bulk. I got 2 bags of chopsticks because one of them, where's it at? And around here somewhere, I'll pull it out of the bag. Can't find it. Okay. Okay, this bag was a little bit more. This bag was, I think, $12. I have no idea how many is in here, but each of these red containers, and there are plenty of them, contains two chopsticks. These are actually kind of nice. These are round chopsticks. I have no idea what they're made out of. I don't have my reading glasses on. I think there's writing that probably says. But these are rather nice chopsticks. The round, they're smooth. I am now officially well endowed with, no pun intended, well endowed with dowels. I'll be using these things as dowels until I don't know when, until forever. So anyway, now these others, the square ones, they came in a bag too. This is $5 and change. So if you can use wood, either tapered or where's the taper stop? Taper stops right about there. And so my hand is right at 4 inches. So I don't know, about 6.5 inches in. These would make, you know what these would make good? If you're making a diorama and you needed exposed beams, in the ceiling, or maybe at 45 degrees, like for a ceiling joist, 45 degrees cut by hand, not with a power saw. Just any number of things, and of course, table legs. I don't know why I didn't think to use these things a long time ago, but that's just kind of the way it is in the 1/6 scale, or probably even 1/12 scale, 1/10 scale. In the action figure world, regardless of size, if you do it enough times and long enough, you start to see things in things that aren't there, and you're not hallucinating. But like I said, I don't know how many are here. I've seen them out. And $5. Getting hardwood dowels, or any dowels for that, skinny dowels, in the hardware store or the big box store, they're $2, $3 a piece. I now have hundreds of dowels for less than $15, or certainly less than $20. Shipping was free. You should know though that bamboo doesn't like to stain. So this is 5 minutes at least of very dark red oak stain soaking in, and then wiped off and allowed to dry. And this is its unfinished counterpart. Got an idea on how to maybe get this to absorb stain. Certainly wouldn't absorb. It just laughed at me when I put butcher block oil on. I like wood with butcher block oil, especially. But this is proper dark red oak stain, and it just sort of just laughed at me. That basswood I was telling you about, this is a test piece. It doesn't stain up very well at all. Red oak, yellow, I believe. No, this is walnut. This is butcher block oil, just plain oil, butcher block oil. It doesn't apparently like to get into the grain. The grain is unstained. So what I'm going to do, we'd do this now, but it's dark out, and I'm not going to run a table saw at night. So what I'm going to do is I got more pallets from the staging area next door. These are red oak. Actually, I was able to salvage quite a bit of the oak for a change. So I'm going to make a table out of this top. Yes, this is considerably thicker than this for the time being, but it's not considerably thicker when you factor in this. So I will turn this into a 4x6 piece of wood that I'll use for a tabletop, and I won't have to worry about the legs relying on glue. I knew better going into it. I thought, nah, I can get away with it. But Bob, the lesson is don't rely on fasteners for strength for anything that has stress. Just kind of a rule of thumb. So I'll take you through the process. It's a 1/2 inch, and my new planer, the electric one that I showed you the box, but I still haven't shown you. Instructions say not to use. It's not really good on anything less than, I think I said 3/4 of an inch. I could be wrong, but certainly 1/2 inch, which means I got to hand plane this thing. But these, if I can get them to accept stain, they're going to work great in this. And it'll be two less things that I have to, two less steps, I should say, that I have to worry about. So that's my failure, and that's my plan B for addressing my failure. So I know I've just kind of rambled on here. I haven't given you a whole lot of information. One valuable piece of information, hopefully, is that consider using chopsticks. They're cheap for any number of things. They come in square and these really nice round ones. I know I keep finding over these things, but they're just smooth. I mean, they're good quality. I forgot what I paid for them. But they're chopsticks, or they could be, beams in a diorama, or ceiling floor joist, or ceiling, rafters. I said ceiling joist. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Carpenters, please correct me. Floor joist, or the beams for a ceiling. There, I am done with my wife's not the only one that can do a bit of a word salad. So I hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. If you hit the subscribe button, even if you're already subscribed, touch that button again with your cursor, and then you can turn on the alarm button. That'll give you a notification that we've put up another episode. And like I said, we try to do it every day, don't always succeed, but we usually do. So with that, I hope everyone has a good night.